Jamsters, what's going on? How we doing? Welcome to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast following a delicious win, an ever so tasty win for your Phoenix Suns against those Boston Celtics. Yes, they're on the road, a 5:30 p.m. start, and the team has to play with all of the news around Kyrie Irving starting today. But you know what? Matthew's joining me. Suns Geek is joining
Hey,
me.
yo. How
How's
are
it
those
going,
fries,
Matthew?
man? How are those fries hitting you right
How
in the
those
face? Not in the
how
mouth,
those
though.
how those fries that are hitting me right in the face and not the mouth? Well, whoever's throwing those fries could play for the Boston Celtics
Yeah.
because they were missing tonight. The Suns are
very
making
cool.
it tonight,
Very cool.
and we're coming to you live from Marley's at Desert Ridge. I'm joined by multiple people. Suns Geek, welcome to the pod. How you doing, brother?
Fantastic, man. Congratulations to you for treating yourself tonight. You deserve it. And glad that the Suns got the win, man.
Is there a lot of ambient noise? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you're
I don't
good.
know how
It's not too
ambient
bad,
am I?
man.
Well, I apologize if it gets a little too crazy because I got Dan Duarte over here.
Hey,
Yep.
I
I
got
got
Coach Evan
confirmation.
B.
Yep.
hey, let's go.
We all made up. It's all good.
I got Fanning the Flames over here. We got Phil over here who almost cost us the game. He almost cost us the game. When the Suns were up 20, Phil let everybody know, and instantly the Celtics went on a 9-0 run. But thankfully they pull it out. Matthew, what was the final score? They won 106-94 in this one, right?
Yeah, 106-94. The
a
Suns
beautiful-
defeat the Celtics. Right?
Beautiful graphic, beautiful win for the Suns as they start 5 games on 7 different nights. So let's go ahead. We're gonna pop them if you got them, Suns fans. I already got a nice Coors Light right here.
Hey, really quick.
What do you got?
When you do leave the pod,
Water?
just make sure you don't end the broadcast. This
I
time.
won't this time. I won't. I'll simply leave. Suns Geek, what are you drinking there?
I'm going crazy tonight, man. Dr. Pepper.
Yes,
My
Dr.
mom's
Pepper.
favorite
Well,
drink.
on that note, Jamsters, pop them if you got them. Subscribe, rate, and review. Hit that thumbs up button if you're on YouTube. And enjoy this intro. A Suns victory on the road in Boston in TD Garden, a place that I've been to. It's a beautiful place. You walk in and you see nothing but all the banners that exist in that arena. It's intimidating, but it wasn't intimidating for the Suns, which brings me to my first question.
Matthew, I got to ask.
Matthew, Suns Geek, I gotta ask. How good does this one feel? How good does this one feel?
Well, for me, this one's huge because tomorrow night's a big game where you think it's gonna be a blowout. Tonight was a projected L. Tonight was gonna be an L for the Suns, and it wasn't, man. And I think a lot of it has to do with the Celtics kind of giving into the idea that the Suns kind of suck right now. They're kind of without some people. They have a lot of trade buzz around that team, so they're like, "Oh, we'll cruise to a victory." It came out the other end, dude. The Celtics actually looked like the team that there was a lot of trade buzz. And they kind of just felt like a lot of their players might be traded or something because that's the way they acted. And in the subreddit stakeout, those fans weren't having it with this team tonight. But what do you think, Suns Geek? Because I thought tonight was going to be a loss, right? And all of a sudden we get the win. It's a Friday night and we're partying.
Man, let me just tell you, obviously we've all seen how bad the Suns are without Devin Booker. And for a while, the Boston Celtics were pretty terrible without Jason Tatum because he didn't hit his first shot until what? 2, like in the second quarter, midway through the second quarter and all that. So that goes to, and don't get me wrong, Jaylen Brown was very great in this game. I'm sure we're going to talk about him later, but that just goes to show how much, any team struggles without their best player. And it's funny too, because the Phoenix Suns really struggled starting off this game. I think they started off like 0 for 9. Then all of a sudden they started cooking. The ball was moving around. The Suns were playing great defense, great energy. This was just a huge win. I don't care if this win is against the worst team in the league or the best team in the league. We need every single win we can get.
Yeah, you got to appreciate the fact that they started off rough, right? It reminded me of the first time we played the Boston Celtics, where it was like 7-0 right off the bat. And then the
Yep.
Suns threw a 10-0 run on those Boston Celtics. And shout out to the bench in this one. I really think the bench played fantastic. Can you guys guess what the two loudest moments in this game were? Who were the first? Who were the two players who drew the biggest roar from Suns fans at Marley's tonight? Who do you think?
Was
Ish
it?
Wainwright.
Yeah, I'm gonna say is it Ish with that full court shot that came out of his ass? He just
No.
fucking shot that?
No,
What was
because that
it?
didn't count. That didn't count, unfortunately. Coda Kid is right in the chat. Saban Lee
Yep.
on
Yes.
that dunk was absolutely
awesome.
savage.
Yes.
And then the other one, Coach Fallen Founder, Jake's in the chat. It was Dario. Dario hit a
Super
money three in this one.
Dario.
Like, who would have guessed that we'd be sitting here and we're talking about a great victory over the Boston Celtics, and it's Dario Saric who gets the first drop again.
The Saric smoke break.
What a smoke break we got from him tonight. Matthew, when you watch Dario tonight,
Yeah.
knowing that he got the start tonight, knowing that you're going against the long Boston Celtics with Time Lord, who I just found out what his nickname actually meant tonight from my good friends here. But what do you think of Dario tonight?
Well, after I go, please let me know what the nickname means. I hear it all the time, and I'm sure I've heard of what it means, but I forget. The
It's
14
from
and
Doctor
13
Who, I guess.
Oh, is it from Doctor Who? Is that all it is? It's from Doctor Who. Okay, makes sense. But 14 and 13 for Saric. It's funny coming into this game, like you think it's gonna be a loss, and then you hear Saric is gonna start. It's like, oh man, this is gonna get even worse. Big game from him tonight, but he was nailing threes and big moments for the Suns. At the end of the game, you just wanted Mikal Bridges to have the ball in his hands. You wanted him to shoot the ball. Ish was throwing up some threes. He was doing some like runners, and they were just not making them. Like he was the one with the ball at the end of the game to make crucial shots. You don't want that. You want Mikal to have the ball or else Aiden to finish it out too. Saric, man, big freaking threes from him tonight, dude. And EJ even said on the broadcast, he's like, Mikal needs the ball. Give Mikal the ball. Saric shoots the three. He's like, oh, wait, no. He's all just like, he's all, let Saric try too. So it makes sense for him to win this game for the Suns in a game we thought we were going to lose. Saric comes through, and he's pretty much Superman for us. And these are his games, dude. Like, when we're underestimated, he's the one guy that usually can come out big for the Suns.
What was his stat line, Matthew?
14 points, 13 rebounds.
Get the
assists.
fuck out of here.
Three
14, 13, 3 assists from Dario?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Serious question. When was the last time Dario had a double-double? Like, seriously, that's what stands out to me. And then obviously the 3 assists, as I mentioned. But Dario was just hustling out there, man. Just doing everything he could to lead the Suns to victory. For some reason, Dario seems to like the number 13, because wasn't there a game where he had like 13 rebounds recently? Dario was great out there, man. You know, I don't think we win this game without him. And well done, Dario.
So his starting center in this game, not, you know, considering he's playing power forward. What about your boy Ayton?
Ayton, watch.
We were saying it throughout the game. That's my max center, baby. That's my max center. Right? What do you guys think about your max center tonight?
All right. Well, I mean, the Suns start out 0 for 9 tonight. And that was a hole you thought they couldn't get themselves out of. But the Celtics weren't doing anything either. They were just kind of jacking up threes and hoping that they would just take this game from the Suns at ease. But then Ayton started hitting shots. He started hitting the shots he's supposed to make. He still misses shots towards the end of the game that he should make to help the Suns win. But he had that huge alley-oop, the one where he just pushes Williams out of the way with one hand. Just like, get the fuck out of here. And then he grabs the ball and throws it down with force. That's fun to watch, man. And then he also had another dunk towards the end of the game to help the Suns and with a putback. That was a huge dunk. So the dunks that Ayton had were big. Tonight he was 14 and 10, and he had 8 points in the first quarter. And it's not they went to him in the first a lot, but then in the second he never really got the ball. But I think that was a lot of the Celtics just like kind of adjusting a little bit on defense. Him and Mikal just had 8 points in the first quarter and they didn't have anything in the second. Are they watching the podcast?
Yeah, a couple of them are.
Oh,
we're sitting here at Marley's, and some people are just sitting around on the phones. Everyone's just, you know,
that's
watching
so
the
cool,
pod.
Dude.
They're, oh, look
at that! Look at you guys.
That. That's fanning the flames right there. You know,
this is sort of.
I don't know. If Marley's knew right now the podcast royalty that was in.
I was going to say, how many autographs have you guys signed tonight?
Coach Evan B's here. He's in town from Utah.
Yeah.
Dan's in town from Buckeye.
Let's go.
It's like halfway to Utah.
What state is
You know,
that?
and
What state's Buckeye in?
Buckeye's like East LA, right? Like it's like,
Oh, is it? Okay.
yeah, like we
That's
got to
cool,
give him a
man.
Dodgers hat or something.
I was just gonna say this is sort of like a unofficial ginormous Suns podcast collaboration. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah,
fanning
Coach
the
Evan B's
flames.
in
Yeah.
town.
He's on fire. Like
He's on Fire podcast is in town,
Coast
so we
to
thought we'd all
coast.
get together. We invited Matthew, but Matthew lives in like Tucson, so it's far away.
Yeah, and the game's at 5:30, so it sucked. I'm like, that would actually be fun to go down there, but next time, guys. Next time. But yeah, what did you think, Suns Geek, on DeAndre Ayton?
I was just going to
Your
kind of
thoughts?
piggyback off what you said, man. Like especially in the first quarter, he was really good. I mean, he had most of our points. I think him and Bridges did. And there were some nice sequences with dunks and alley-oops and all that, but I think he definitely got took out of the game in the second half. I don't know if that was just Boston stepping up their defense, which they did. The defense really picked up for Boston on the, second half and everything. But one thing I will say to Ayton's credit, I'm sure that Suns fans are probably pissed off at him and blaming everything on him. The 5 assists was pretty nice, and he is going to put up double-doubles no matter what. I mean, he had 3 straight games of 20-plus points or whatever. The dude is a double-double machine, but I just think the Celtics kind of took him out of this game. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna play physical, you can see the Time Lord kind of had his way with Ayton. A lot of the times, Ayton was actually getting that little jump hook off. He was being pushed, but like any kind of force on Ayton, I mean, he kind of gets pushed over. You see that a lot with these bigger guys on Ayton, and he kind of just has to make himself, known down there. And that's the thing is, when you're playing these games against a bigger guy like the Time Lord, you just have to like make your presence known early in the game. That way, it's easier towards the end of the game. If you don't do that, you can kind of see him get pushed around a little bit towards the end, but then he does help the Suns finish on the offensive end. I kind of wish that I wanted to see Majerle and Ayton, like in games like this, like always have the ball. And I think we got huge shots from Saric. We did. But it's just like, those are the two I was like, let's see them finish this game. And they did. They did for the most part. It's awesome because I've always wanted Ayton to win us a game. And I feel like he kind of did tonight with a little bit more aggression to end the game. It's just
you wanted a little more.
Yeah, but it's good, man. I don't know if I want more. I'm kind of confused because I want more, but then also the way I want him to play now is the 4th or 5th option. So I think he did fine as long as he's happy with that.
So here's what I'll say about DeAndre Ayton tonight is we all know what it's like, Suns fans. We've all been to a bar, hanging out with your buds, and Suns game's on the corner. We're not sitting there watching it like we normally do at home, right? When you're at home, you're watching every possession. You're watching every non-hustle play that DeAndre Ayton makes. You're watching every time on the weak side he's not being as aggressive as he can, trying to get to the front side of the offense and make himself available. When you're at the bar, you're hanging in with some friends. Podcasters are not, okay? I mean, the nice thing about tonight is I'm hanging around a bunch of people who actually know what the fuck we're talking about. Some good Suns. What do you got there, Suns Geek?
Dario's first social media team listens to the Suns Jam Session podcast. As they said, first double-double since March 2020.
First double-double.
Don't ever change, Paul.
But what I'll say about DeAndre tonight, from the outside looking in, not the inside looking out, is it was a productive game. What do we talk about, Matthew? We talk about statistics don't always matter with DeAndre, and it's the effort. And what I saw from DeAndre tonight was he made plays that were impact plays when they needed to be made for this team. When the Boston Celtics were making runs, and they made their runs, the Phoenix Suns were up by 20 points at one point. And it was DeAndre Ayton who stopped that run. When it was less than 5 minutes, it was DeAndre Ayton who was making key baskets that were relevant to the victory for this Phoenix Suns team. So I'm not going to lie. It's nice to have a beer. It was nice to sit back and relax and not overanalyze the DeAndre Ayton effort. Now, I can understand that. I can understand it because I've been on that other side where we're sitting there, we're overanalyzing everything he does. But what we received from him tonight was exactly what we needed him for the most important statistic of all. The most important statistic of all is a W, and that's what we got from DeAndre tonight.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing, and you just want him to kind of be happy now in the kind of position he's in. I know that we kind of had a chance there to see what he can do with the offense going through him. It's not there. Now we know that Majerle can be that guy. Now we know that DeAndre can kind of sit back and be the 4th option, and I think he's happy with that, man. And he did come through to make the big
plays. He'll be more than the 4th option in the future. You know, I think it went to your point, Matthew. It's like when we are okay with him being the 4th option, we all are happier. When he's the third
Yeah.
or second option, that's where we start to get overly critical. So like I understand that.
Because he doesn't have any
But-
moves. Like you saw in the fourth
Yes.
quarter where he has the ball and he still goes towards where the other defender's coming on the double team. Like he goes towards that and he travels with the ball. Like he doesn't go away from it. So he still doesn't know what to do with the ball in those situations when you just need a bucket. He's not going to do that for you at all. So those situations, he's still very, very uncomfortable. That's why they can't go to him in those situations.
So here's what's an interesting statistic. The most important statistic, right, we just talked about is the Suns winning, right? I don't have the answer to this. Someone in the chat might have the ability to look this up before we start talking about Majerle Bridges. I want to know what the Suns' record is with DeAndre Ayton. We know that his first 2 seasons were rough, but we know that his last 2 seasons have been great. What is the Suns' overall record with DeAndre Ayton? Maybe we should just care about that statistic. So who knows? Let's talk.
Well,
Sorry, Matthew, you were making a point.
No,
Go
it's
ahead,
fine.
make that point.
Without DeAndre, like last year they were almost undefeated. This year the same thing. So I don't know
So
if
what's
that
the
means
record
anything.
with? That's a
I
good
don't know.
point. When DeAndre Ayton doesn't play, right? What are they, 11-1 this season? What was that record
Yeah.
last season? It'd be an interesting statistic to actually look up. Is what is the Suns' record with DeAndre Ayton since he became a part of this team? It's an interesting statistic. Now on to Majerle Bridges. The Warden. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but Suns Geek, what did you see from Majerle Bridges tonight as we saw him once again running on plenty of Devin Booker's sets tonight, and he looked great doing so.
First off, Majerle Bridges took a shot late in the end of the game from Robert Williams, and that looked like it hurt. But Majerle Bridges is a robot. He's an Iron Man. Glad he's okay, first off. I thought he looked pretty good. I think it kind of took him a while to get going. Is that kind of fair to say? But, he put up points when they mattered. His confidence level has to be at an all-time high right now, in my personal opinion. It's not even just the points. It's just the way that he's going about getting points, attacking the basket, hitting those mid-range shots, being super aggressive. We all know what he does on the defensive end. And just quick side note here, I'm not trying to pick on Majerle Bridges. Jaylen Brown just goes to show how great of a player he is, because there are a few possessions where Jaylen Brown got the ball, just went in between his legs, drove past Majerle Bridges like it was nothing. But Majerle Bridges is absolutely fantastic. And in my opinion, this was a very quiet 25 points tonight, but I'll take it because Majerle Bridges just continues to have a good week. Pretty good month of January, in my personal opinion, and he's been great so far.
Man, I am dying for him to always have the ball now. Always. The way he could end these games to get those shots, you can see that like there was a lot of double teams for Chris Paul towards the end of the game, but then also Majerle Bridges, when he gets the ball, I feel like he's so quick to where, when Chris Paul does give him the ball in those situations where he gets double teamed, Majerle will just start going. He'll get the offense going quick. He'll cut to the rim. He'll get to his spot quickly, and he's automatic, man. I mentioned like last podcast, I'm not saying he's Kawhi, but he's automatic like Kawhi from those spots where Kawhi hits his shots, like where Devin Booker hits his shots. He's that accurate right now, and he has been. And I'm not scared to say like he has been for a long time. He's not those guys, but he's very, very confident in those spots. You can tell how he wants the ball too. Like even when Ish had the ball and shot at 3, he's like, no, I'm like, I'm right here. I'm in the paint. Just give me the ball. That's what you want to see. You want him to be, you want to see him be dominant like that. And Jaylen Brown, man, he's a different level. He's nothing phases him. I mean, obviously, I feel like in this league right now, better offense just kills defense no matter what.
How many times have I said that on this podcast?
Oh, yeah, all the time. And that's just the way it is, especially Jaylen Brown, who's long, who's athletic, who can shoot the 3. They kind of gave him a few extra shots there at the 3-point line they shouldn't have. Majerle, when he got shot, pretty much shot in the head. He got hit in the head. Well, shot in the head would hurt a lot, actually. That would probably be a game changer. But so what Majerle's doing though right now is something that's very, very special. And he doesn't pass the ball a whole lot, but he definitely can. He can hit these guys in stride.
Capable of it,
even in the first quarter when he waited for Ayton to come down on that dunk on the fast break, beautiful, man. The only thing that I want to see him do is get the ball. When you want the ball, get the ball. Take it away from Chris Paul. Chris Paul needs to stop.
Until he gets that
Chris Paul needs
ball.
to stop bringing the ball up because it's 8 seconds. Even if it seems like he's bringing it up on time, it's like, oh my God, no, wait, it's already been 6 or 7 seconds.
Didn't you mention that during our stream earlier?
Yeah, because
it's
he does
annoying.
it. John hates it. Everyone hates it. Get Majerle the ball, have him bring it up. There's no reason he can't. even if the guy's guarding him full court,
Trust
you
me,
can
listen.
definitely get there.
I want to talk
What?
about CP3 here momentarily. I agree because it drove me crazy. I know what you're trying to talk
Oh my
about, but
gosh, dude.
we'll talk about CP3 momentarily, but I do want to talk about my friend Damien.
Today I met this cat. He said his name was Damien. He thinks that we're a lot alike and wants to be my friend.
11 points from Damian Lee tonight. We finally got a Damian Lee contribution. He was 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. He had the highest plus minus of plus 30. How nice is it to, as this team gets healthier, to see Damian Lee fall back into his role? That's what we need from him. We don't need fucking runners. We need him to hit some threes and do his due diligence, right, Suns Geek?
Absolutely. Damian Lee, in my opinion, is a secret weapon. And I mean that because remember how good in the fourth quarter he was for like a long stretch of the season? That's the Damian Lee that we're going to need late in the season and in the playoffs and all that. And he has sort of been struggling, as you've mentioned. I mean, this was just a good game for him. A nice little bounce back game, in my opinion, hitting shots when they mattered. I mean, he only had 11 points and 3 threes, but I'll take it. Not to mention he did have 4 assists and 2 steals. But again, man, just a secret weapon out there. He has that championship pedigree, that experience that comes from the Warriors. He loves being on this team. He's a good communicator out there. He knows how to play. And players are going to go through slumps and all that, but I'm glad that he had a good game tonight.
Yeah, he's the extender, man. When the bench needs him to come in and just, I mean, to start the fourth quarter, obviously, like he helped Jock and that second unit really just push the league up to 10. They never looked back.
Love holding Jocks.
And it's something special to watch because you just know like this first team, they were doing okay, but they know like the Celtics are going to come back. They're going to make a run. But to have the bench come out, especially behind Damian Lee, and hit those threes to do what they're supposed to do. I'm not saying he has to be automatic every game, but he extended the lead. They kept the lead because of that second unit. The first team came in and finished off the game. That is exactly what needs to happen every game. You know what I mean? That's what you want every game, is the first unit to come in and finish in the fourth, while the second unit kind of holds the lead, but they extended it this time. And it's because of that guy. He was struggling for a while. I mean, we talked about him. He has that floater. I think he got fouled on one of them.
He had an air ball too.
He just needs to stick he's so good from 3. There's no reason he should be doing anything else but jacking up that 3. Because when he gets hot, it's just something this team needs. Like, it is crazy to me how many times he does go to the lane and has that and tries to shoot that floater. I hate it. Even if it goes in, I fucking hate it. Just shoot the 3.
Yeah.
That's all I want from him. And it's so effective, man. And a 3-point contest is coming up. I don't know if he's going to be in it, but he should be.
He deserves it, man.
Yeah, you think so, Suns Geek? He should be there, right?
Absolutely. You're leading the league in 3-point shooting. You got, I don't know how many threes he's made total this season, but the percentage, it's got to be there. Whatever the averages they do. Real quick, I don't know if we were going to talk about it, but if you know what, I'm not saying this is going to happen every game, but if our bench can carry us like that through certain quarters entering the fourth quarter, I will take it. Rest the starters as long as you need to, but our bench needs to be more consistent. They were absolutely fantastic tonight.
Perfect transition, Suns Geek. I brought up Damian Lee because I wanted to talk about just that. How effective was our bench? I don't have the statistics in front of me. I'm sure some of you guys can do some quick math, but that's what made this a win for the Suns. Is not only did the starters play well enough, but you had the bench carry us in those moments in which the starters weren't present. Tell me some statistics. Tell me how they did tonight.
Dude, they were fantastic, man.
38 points? Is that it?
That's probably it. I'm not great at math, so I'll trust your math.
What did the Boston bench have, Matthew?
Boston had I don't know. I have to look that up. Because I just added up the Phoenix Suns one really quick. Yeah. I just feel like Boston kind of struggled all over the place, but I don't know. I have to look that up.
Malcolm Brogdon had 12 points, which probably most of that came in the first half. Peyton Pritchard had 3, and then Luke Cornett had 4.
Yeah, whatever you got from that.
Yeah. And really from what I saw from the bench here was just ball movement, being aggressive. You saw so many times in this game where they get the ball into Jock Landale and he would score in the paint. Ish Wainwright was absolutely incredible tonight, especially on defense in a few sequences. On Jason Tatum
and
of all people.
Three-quarter shot, right?
Yeah.
Three-quarter court shot that didn't count.
That too. He hit a couple threes as well. It's like, man, like, why can't our bench do this all the time? I thought that Saban Lee was pretty good in this game. I'm not just talking about that dunk. That dunk was nice, though. He was great, man. The Suns bench just absolutely carried us. We need more of that, especially going into the playoffs. If we can get this like 2 out of every like 6 games where the bench just comes in and takes over like that, I'll be so happy with it, man. What did you see, Matthew?
Well, the thing is with Ish too, he's playing like those crucial minutes, and he's still getting like he kind of yelled at a little bit from his teammates. So like I love that too. Like he doesn't get owned, but he kind of got owned from Chris Paul tonight, where there's a stupid foul towards the end of the game, and Chris
Yeah.
Paul kind of got up to him like, "What are you doing, dude?" Aiden did that a while ago. He's like, "Shoot the fucking ball!" Like I've
Yeah,
never
I
seen
remember that.
Aiden yell at a guy like that
dude,
ever on the court.
right?
So Ish gets a lot. He gets a
Yeah.
lot of attention from these starters, where he's playing big minutes, and he needs to make up a lot of missed time from, guys that are out. I mean, that's Cameron Johnson's role right there. Ish just stepped up huge. It just show up every game. He's still shooting the three. He still has the confidence, but it's definitely something that you don't want. You don't want him to continue to have to do, right? But he still has the confidence to come out there and shoot the shots that he needs to take, but pass the ball up a little bit more, because you can see how kind of hesitant he is.
Yeah.
Some things like on some passes, or else doing anything else on the offensive end other
Yeah.
than just shooting the ball. He had that one like weird kind of runner at the end, and I was like, oh, like it just went off the front of the rim. I'm like, you're not supposed to shoot that. Get the ball to Mikal, hold on to it, give it to Aiden to get to Mikal, do something like that. But you can tell like he kind of gets a little flustered, but he'll calm down, and he won't even be in those situations soon when we have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on this motherfucker.
Whoa now, Matthew. Settle down.
I've never seen Matthew get loud like that.
One topic of conversation that we've had here is, why no Bismack?
Biz.
And I think we all know the reason why we had no Busy tonight, right?
Because Kyrie Irving is coming to the Suns.
Because Kyrie Irving is coming to the Suns. No, because he would have been the pigeon tonight. If you think about who the Boston Celtics are, and trust me, we're going to get the Kyrie talking, because I got to hear what Suns Geek has got to say about this. I love it. And if you want to hear more content from Suns Geek about Kyrie Irving, head over to his channel, because it has to do with the Phoenix Suns. You know he's going to make a video about it, and it would be a crime if you haven't already done so. Have you made something already?
Yeah, me and Matthew were live early, man, for a long time.
Yeah, I went on right after
us. All right, perfect. Yeah, you said you were going on with the Geek, so I can't wait to watch that. So Jams, just head over there. But one of the things we talked about relative to Bismack Biyombo is the fact that he didn't get a lot of playing time. This was a Jock Landale game, right? Because of the way that Boston plays. They are a team that is the highest switchable team in the entire NBA. So that's why you didn't see Bismack, ladies and gentlemen. So don't get too upset, right, guys?
Yeah, go ahead, Geek. You can talk about this first.
Yeah, it was noticeable, I guess. But at the same time, if Jock Landale's having a pretty good game like that, and Dario's doing what he's doing out there. I mean, you know how Monty Williams is. For better or worse, he sometimes rides player off momentum and matchups, and just wasn't Busy's night. I mean, he didn't even play, you know what I mean? But I just think he stuck with his team, trusted his bench and all that. I think that's why he didn't play.
I know. I wanted a little Time Lord on Busy action. I thought that would have been kind of fun.
Yeah, you always want Busy in there. And the thing is, like, Jock he needs a lot more minutes. It always feels like he gets to a certain point where you can see him turn it on. He's like having a couple good games. Tonight, like, he was jacking up threes. It's like, stop fucking shooting that three. Hey, get a jump hook. Then he has a jump hook. Then he hits a jump hook, and it looks great down there. He was tipping the ball out. He was giving us some second chance points. So he needs some extra minutes. That's what sucks between those two, is like you kind of switch them out like every other game, but then they kind of just lose some kind of momentum or something. So it took him a while, just like kind of like the Suns' whole offense to get into the groove of this game. But once he did, he was effective, man. And I love that and one fast break he had where he started roaring at the bench. He's like, Kyrie and KD will be here and I'll be gone. I can't wait.
All right. We'll get to that momentarily. But I will say that, Matthew, how many days has it been since your birthday?
6.
No, that's a lie.
10.
21. So just so you know, effective tomorrow, it's Dan Duarte's birthday.
Let's go.
Oh, is it? He's an Aquarius, huh?
So you're an Aquarius, Matthew says, huh? Yes. And just so you know, he was born in the same year as Matthew.
Yeah.
So, Matthew, you are literally just days older than Dan Duarte, which brings us to our DraftKings advertisement.
Hey, NBA fans, it's time to bring the hoops action to the palm of your hands with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 and win $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, opt in and place a same game parlay on any NBA game, and if it doesn't hit, you get a free bet back. Bet on them Phoenix Suns to win the championship. They're plus 1,900 right now. Download the app now and sign up with code TBPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, with code TBPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. See show notes for details.
Here we go. Little noogie.
give little brother a noogie.
So there you go. But so
He's getting knocked
obviously, Dan punches me right in the face. The greatest fake Twitter battle on the history of the Suns Twitter. What else do you guys want to talk about relative to this game? I mean, I've just got a new beer, so you guys
look
talk
at
for a
you.
bit,
We
and
talk
then
about
we'll do
back,
it,
man.
and then we'll
Yeah,
do Jamstar, and then we'll talk Kyrie.
Okay, well, I don't know what she just said. So I want to talk about Saban Lee a little bit, man. So Saban Lee, I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
Yes.
Saban Lee, so he's playing big minutes right now. He of course is the guy that was taking over Dwayne Washington. He's a guy that's gonna handle this offense with the second unit. I still keep trusting him. He had that huge dunk, but that dunk was just you said it had the second biggest roar, the biggest roar in the bar.
It was a broken play, too.
For sure, but like just him, just like I'm just gonna go take this and dunk it. That just shows his confidence. Oh, you're gonna stay away from me from three. You're gonna give me 2 or 3 feet. I'm just gonna shoot a three. Like he seriously will do whatever the defense will give him. As soon as he sees an opportunity, he takes it, and that's the kind of guy you want running this offense with the second unit right now. I know obviously it's probably not gonna hold up. Who knows if he's gonna be here, whatever. But for right now, he's doing his job, and that's like all you can ask. He was a big part of this win. I didn't even look at his stats actually, but I just 3 for 4, 7 points, 2 assists. That's it. But he played a big 13 minutes, honestly, for this team. Because when he's in, those are minutes it's like Chris Paul needs off. Because Chris Paul had 35 minutes tonight already, so you just know he's going to need a break, and you can trust Saban Lee, man.
I'm going to piggyback off of everything you said, man. I mean, there's probably, I mean, I hope not, but there might be a phase where Saban Lee is going to really struggle. Who knows what's going to happen with his minutes or everything. But right now, like you said, he is providing those backup Chris Paul minutes and everything. So we're going to have to see, when Campaign and all them come back too. But I don't want to jinx him or anything, but I feel like he can do a little bit of everything. Like the way that Monty Williams and James Jones and even Jock Lindell have been talking about him, it seems like he can do a little bit of everything. He's aggressive. He hustles out there. He can hit shots, attack the rim, get to the foul line. Kind of like we saw like a lot of tonight and in past games. Like he seems like a really solid player, man. And I understand that a lot of people were upset, especially in my comment section of my videos. They're upset about Dwayne Washington Jr. And I get it. He was a great addition to this team. The dude's a bucket, but like I think Monty Williams and all them, James Jones chose pretty much what I described over Dwayne Washington Jr. I'm not saying Dwayne Washington Jr. isn't capable of doing those. Would have been cool if you could have kept them both, but Saban Lee's been great, man. Fingers crossed if he can keep this up. I hope he keeps providing good minutes, and it's going to be interesting when this roster's fully healthy to see how he continues to play. But just like with Mikal Bridges right now, his confidence level has to be off the charts.
And how surprised are you guys he didn't get that technical foul on that dunk when he lifted himself up? I was pretty sure that he's going to get a tech, but he didn't.
That'd be such a Suns technical foul.
I know, but I feel like that would have been a tech, and they didn't get the call. So
right.
I don't know, man. Where are we going to next, John? Are you still there? She's still there? No?
What's that?
Are you still there?
What does LSLA mean?
LSLA?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about at the table right now. Again, for those of you who just joined the podcast, I'm joined by Coach Evan B., who's in town from Utah. I'm joined by Dan Duarte, who's in town from Buckeye.
Hey,
I'm enjoying.
Can we see them?
Phil.
Can we see everybody every 2 minutes?
No, every 10. What does LSLA stand for? Because if I guess it, Dan will pay off my truck.
Oh, really? Let's suck LA. I don't know, man. I have no idea, dude. Yeah, John's drinking a lot of beer.
Are you guys looking for a topic of conversation?
Well, I don't know. Are
I
you still running it, or what's going on?
No, I mean I'm around.
Oh, okay. I'll keep
real
going
quick.
and stuff. I just thought you were gonna.
Okay, keep going. I just want to be around for things. I did you guys see Austin Rivers versus Mo Bamba tonight? That's another thing we're talking about here.
I was glancing over at that.
What did he
earlier
do?
when you
Dude,
were talking.
Mo Bamba socked the shit out of Austin Rivers tonight.
No
And it was
way.
everything
Yeah,
we wanted.
look
We
it up,
talk
dude.
about most punchable players in the NBA. He is a top 10 most punchable face. Thank you, Mo Bamba. Talk about yourself.
Oh my God, that's awesome, because I think Austin Rivers, I think he joined the Ringer podcast network, and he's going to be, I don't know if he already has podcasts or not, but that is awesome because Mo Bamba's a very confident dude. He can call it out. He knows the fake.
He's really mature for his age, actually. I know it doesn't seem like it with that fight, but he really is, actually.
Yeah, Austin Rivers for sure. This is I have to I'll watch it after the podcast.
Yeah.
But Austin Rivers is one of those dudes that we always hate. And Mo Bamba, you can care less what he does, really. But anybody that punches Austin Rivers is an automatic favorite, right? For Suns fans. Dude, there's a lot of fights. And then you also have Dylan Brooks, who punched Donovan Mitchell right in the crotch. Boink, like seriously, like just turn around. He even eyeballed it too before he turned around and just boinked him right in the nuts. So there's a lot of hitting going around, dude. These guys are actually fighting now, because usually they'll just like talk
Just
shit,
like a
get held back.
Nothing
But
too
now
big,
they're like tackling each other on the court, and then they're punching each other in the face. So I got to see that, man. I kind of feel bad for Austin Rivers now, but not really.
No, don't, Matthew. Don't. He deserves it. You know it.
All right.
You effing know it. All right. Well, I guess this is the point of the podcast. And Matthew, is there anything else we need to talk about on this game? I know we're 36 minutes in. What else is in your notes?
Let me see. Actually, I'll go through. I think that we hit on everybody really quick. Honestly, we went through all these guys really quickly. So I'm good, man. If you want to do Jamstar,
when the Suns have a win like this, man, it's pretty easy to talk about.
Yeah.
So there is one question we were asking amongst ourselves, but before we get to that, we'll hand out some hardware.
Jam star of the game.
Mikhail for me, gentlemen for you.
Yeah, I'm going Mikhail.
Dario Sarge, man, honorable mention, Ish Wainwright.
Very nice.
All right, so the topic of conversation, and we're going to talk Kyrie momentarily. Is there any member of the Phoenix Suns who you've ever hated while they were a member of the team?
That's a good one. Let me think. DeAndre Ayton is probably one of them. Also, probably DeAndre Ayton. No, I'm just joking. You're
not
a
son of a bitch, Matthew.
No, I can't think of anybody. You know what? I remember like when we got Matt Barnes. I didn't really like him very much. But that's the only guy that comes to mind. What about you, Geek? Anybody?
I liked Matt Barnes. I'm with you. I wasn't a fan when he first came with us, but he grew on me, right?
Yeah, not to me. I just never liked him.
As non-biased as I can say, probably the Morris twins, but that was sort of like an up and down ladder. Like there were times I liked them, but just probably the Morris twins, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I'm with a lot of people in the chat, like Robert Ory.
I was younger back then, and that was before the Steve Nash thing. But in hindsight,
that
Robert
was half
Horry's
of the
number
table's
one.
conversation tonight because a lot of these guys are young. So, well, let's talk about it, man. Kyrie Irving. Okay, I mean, I know that Matthew and I put out a quick emergency pod earlier today. We talked a little bit about it. I know you and Matthew Suns Geek put out something on your channel. Give me the highlights of that conversation. What are you guys feeling? Like, are you pro Kyrie? Are you anti-Kyrie? Are you looking at the mechanics of the trade? Tell me everything you guys are thinking about this.
Well, for me, something else hit where there was a contract negotiation. If this is true, the contract negotiation where they needed him to win a championship or something for it to actually take place. I don't know. Something like that. So that's why he wants out. Now, if this is just a ploy to really get a contract again and the Suns have no chance of getting KD and Kyrie, I will never believe in anything ever again. Anything I ever hear, I'll turn off Twitter. I'll just shut the fuck up, because right now I'm thinking it's one of those two. I think it has to be at least. I told Suns Geek earlier it's going to be Kyrie. It's going to be KD. If one of those two get traded, KD will be here. He'll either come with Kyrie or Kyrie will go somewhere else. That's just the way I think it's going to happen. Right now for both of them. And if you're going to say either one, I would choose KD, of course. But Kyrie on this team, if you only give up a guy like Chris Paul, as much as we do love him, and I mentioned earlier that I want to win a championship with this guy because of what he brought to Phoenix when he came here. But when you're replacing him with Kyrie, he's an all-star starter, dude. This guy is legit. I mean, an all-star starter pulled out of his ass. Like, he can just put up numbers. He can get you back in games, score 20 straight. This guy's insane. And he does it quicker. He does it way faster than anything that Chris Paul can do right now in that offense. So that's a guy you need. So I'm going to say we get one of the two, but honestly, I bet you anything we get nothing. Nothing even happens. What do you think, Geek?
Yeah, I mean, you and I talked about this for a good amount of time on my channel. Shameless plug there. I was live for like an hour and 45 minutes. It was a great show. Also had some random quote call-in guests that were spitting facts all show. But to answer your question, John, pretty much I'm trusting in James Jones here. I think at the end of the day, God forbid if I had a gun to my head and I had to choose, I would pick Kevin Durant. That's sort of my prediction. If Kyrie Irving is traded to the Phoenix Suns, I don't know what a trade like that is going to look like. I would probably be open to it for the right price in hindsight. But I will say this. Before the game started, Chris Haynes, who's done a great job of covering the league and covering certain stories like Jay Crowder, for example, he was on NBA TV. And he said a couple of interesting things here. And I think Woj confirmed this. Chris Haynes said, and I quote, "Even if the Nets came back and offered him a full max, he would not accept it. He wants out." He said he has informed the Nets that he will leave in free agency if he is not traded. And then Woj, I think Woj's article pretty much said like Kyrie Irving wants like 5 years, 190 mil or something like that. So I don't know. This is what James Jones and his front office get paid to do, to figure out. It's going to be an insane, 6 days? It's going to, I don't even know if that answers your question, but it's going to be chaos. Stay by your phones and get ready to do some emergency planning.
Oh, yeah, that's great. What does the roundtable say over there, John? What do you guys think?
So here's the fun part about hanging out with some Suns podcasters all night. Dan Duarte just recorded with Flex from Jersey, who, shameless plug, will be on the podcast tomorrow evening as the Suns take on the Detroit Pistons. One of the things that he said is that, CP3 is willing to take a bench role. Think about that.
We talked about that a little bit on my show.
37 years old, willing to take a bench role, willing to contribute to the team. Again, it's not who you start with, it's who you finish with, right? Based on the matchup, if you have Kyrie, CP3, Devin Booker playing the 3, Mikal Bridges at the 4, DeAndre Ayton at the 5. Like, I'm sorry. And I know there's the whole deflection conversation of Kyrie maybe equal KD. I'm not going to go down that route. I know you guys probably did. It's what we should, and Matthew and I did it a little bit earlier. But I'm a stick strictly to the thought process of potentially having Kyrie Irving a member of the Phoenix Suns. Like, come on, like that's what we want, right? Like a secondary shot creator, the point guard of the future. Like he checks multiple boxes.
He's only 30.
The Suns.
Yeah.
He's only 30. And we know, like, again, personal versus professional, everything that he is. But personally, he's a whack job, and we don't know what we're getting. But professionally, he's exactly what you want next to Devin Booker. And the conversation that we had around this table tonight was about culture, about the Phoenix Suns culture, and what that can mean to somebody like Kyrie Irving. Think back to the Arizona Cardinals and Tyrann Mathieu. Nobody wanted Tyrann Mathieu. He fell in the draft so far because nobody thought that there was anything to him. But he got brought into the right culture at the time with Larry Fitzgerald and Patrick Peterson. And guess what? He was a productive member, and now he's won a Super Bowl, and he plays on playoff teams. So who knows what that could mean to Kyrie Irving, changing scenery, potentially come into a Devin Booker team and to a Monty Williams team and a James Jones team, coupled to the fact that Matt Ishbia might want to make a splash right off the bat, right when he gets here. Guess what? Do that, get Kyrie. I think if the price is right, which based on the conversations that I've had around this table, and those of you who get an opportunity to, Dan and Flex are releasing a new podcast it's already released right here. It's already released. It's the Coast to Coast podcast. Check it out. You're going to get a lot of good inside information from Flex. So based on the conversation that they're having is the Suns are very, very open to having Kyrie. We're not talking KD yet. Very, very open to having Kyrie as a member of the team. And guess what? That's what I want. What should I be listening to? Nothing. Oh, what should I be listening to? Nothing. I'll listen to you guys now.
You know what? So I know we say the Suns are open to Kyrie. It's really Booker. Booker's open to Kyrie. Booker loves Kyrie. All these players love Kyrie. I'm not saying every player on the Suns team, but players in the NBA love Kyrie. So, and I talked about this on the pod earlier with Geek, but we talked about basically if the Suns are just focused on this year, which they should be going forward. I think it's a year-to-year thing. James Jones told us in the interview that he doesn't want to overpay anybody. Obviously, he's not going to overpay anybody, not going to give away contracts. But I think the way that James
Ishbia willing to overpay. That's the
exactly.
question. It's no longer James Jones.
Yeah,
it's
no,
Matt
I know.
Ishbia.
Yeah, exactly. But Kyrie gets here, you don't have to pay him. He just wants to change of scenery. You don't have to do anything yet. You play this year out, see how it goes. And I think that's how the Suns play this from now on. When you have Booker on your team, it's a year-to-year thing. It's about putting a contender in for next year, for this year, for I don't care.
James
like we
Jones
always
does
talk,
think like that, actually.
Yeah, and we always talk about like, oh, are we going to pay? Like last year, we always talked about we're going to pay DeAndre, we're going to pay Cameron Johnson. It's like let's figure it out later. Who cares? Because honestly, like if this team doesn't work out, we'll get other players. Because I told Geek, I said the Suns, the Phoenix franchise is now a destination. So every year we're giving away these picks for draft picks that later on in 3 or 4 years they're going to want to come to Phoenix. Like there's a window right now with Booker, as long as he stays healthy, it's a 10-year window. And I think every year he's on this team, every year this team might change, it might upgrade. All these stars are going to want to play with Booker. So that's why I'm just like, let's go for it. Right now, the Suns team, they're not champions. They're not going to win it. They can contend maybe, but they're not going to win it with Booker back. There's no way. There's no way because they're so inconsistent in a lot of ways. And plus, when Booker comes back, you're going to have him and Majerle as your 1 and 2. That's not going to win anything. I know Majerle's a number 2 on this team, but that doesn't mean you're going to win a championship that way. You got to get something else. And James Jones says they want shooting. James Jones said they want shooting. So
and then he released Dwayne Washington.
Yeah. Hey, he wasn't making shots. He wasn't making shots.
That's a fact, Matthew. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I think you guys pretty much summed it up there. I feel like in 24 hours we might be having a completely different conversation, but I just think somebody's going to have to get sacrificed here, if you will. I mean, we're going to have to trade some of our fan favorites. You're going to have to match salaries and all that.
Probably Cam Johnson.
And again, the whole Kyrie wanting a contract after, I think that's got to be considered. It's going to get insane. So I think you guys pretty much nailed it. And you and I, Matthew, talked about this for a long time earlier. It's going to be an insane next 6 days.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I appreciate you guys having me on here as long as I have. It's getting really dark in here. So, Matthew, Suns Geek, I'll let you guys take it home.
Cheers, brother.
I appreciate you guys both holding it down as I go out and hang out with these.
Of course, man. Treat yourself, brother.
Yeah, tell everybody I like them and I like
Tell everybody I
them.
say hi.
I will for sure. I will for sure. But take it home, guys. I won't end the podcast right now. I'll just leave.
Okay. All right. Let's make sure he doesn't end it. Are we still on?
I think we're still live. It says live.
We're still here. All right. So there is one thing, the subreddit stakeout that we got to get to. But do you have any other notes or anything that you want to go over before I do this? Anything else you want to talk about with the Kyrie thing? I think this is going to be exhausted by Thursday. I mean, today was exhausting. I'm already sick of talking about it, but
my brain is again. I just kind of like what Chris Haynes reported on. Like, I think it's a 98% chance Kyrie is traded because it's the way that Chris Haynes, who is involved, he's got connections and he talks to these players like they're friends and all that. I think it's 98% chance he's traded. I don't know what's going to happen with KD. I don't know what's going to happen with the Nets and how they're going to look afterwards. Just get ready, basketball fans. Get ready, Suns fans. This is going to be insane, man. That's really it.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
And just final thoughts on the game. It was a great win. The bench needs to play like that, like 5 out of every 10 games, and we're gonna win a lot of games if that happens.
Yeah, we definitely are. But I just think overall the Celtics were kind of just taking a back seat tonight, trying to shoot threes, trying just to take this that way.
They look kind of tired out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the subreddit stakeout let me know.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Someone tell Tatum to start the game. So Tatum comes out. Oh my gosh. So a lot of these players just suck. Jaylen Brown was probably the only one that did anything in the first half for this team to try to keep the game close. Everyone was upset at Jason Tatum. But yeah, some guy does say that just turn the game. Just turn on the game. Why am I seeing zeros everywhere for our starters, except for Jaylen? So that was about halftime. Like these starters didn't really have much going.
Facts.
So I think it was just a lack of effort on their end, just because they knew they were playing the Suns tonight without Cameron Johnson, of course, Devin Booker. You know what though? Tatum did get a technical though. So the guy says LeBron running around acting like the refs murdered his family, no tech, referring to that LeBron meltdown. Tatum bouncing the ball a little too hard, instant tech. The inconsistency with this reffing stuff, it's getting kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It is. It gets like this every year. I feel like the NBA season always starts out okay with reffing, but then it just kind of it gets to this point where in the middle of the season it just bottles up and everyone just has it. They're just
they call
with
the tiniest little contact, it's a foul. The tiniest little touch, and it's a foul.
Or then they don't, or they, it's just very inconsistent, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just it pisses me off. But they also said they were hard on Grant tonight. So Grant Williams, he seemed like he was botting up DA really good. Oh, I'm sorry, not Grant Williams. Grant Williams.
Robert Williams? Or
no, Grant Williams. Robert Williams, Grant Williams. They were talking about Grant Williams, and I could see why. Robert Williams was the one that was botting up DA pretty good. Robert Williams, he was actually getting thrown out of the way from DA, but they had a lot of nasty comments, and I don't really want to go into it. A lot of foul language, but that was basically the whole subreddit was F your mother, F your mother, do your father. A lot of stuff that I just cannot repeat here on the Suns Jam Session podcast. So, you know how the Boston people are. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and end it there.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Very passionate fans, but they curse a lot.
Yeah, it's nonstop. Yeah. So John said something about Chris Paul. We have a few more seconds here, a few more minutes. I mean, John said something about Chris Paul taking a seat, and you talked about it too. So that's huge for the Suns. I think that's big for Chris Paul to know, like, I need to take a back seat. You can tell every game he's having a hard time. His jump shot looks a lot better. He's getting to his spots. But bringing the ball up, getting this offense going, we need something else. That's not going to work in the playoffs. We can't have a guy that's bringing the ball up, getting it across the time stripe barely in time every game. It's going to kill us. We're not going to get any kind of flow, and we're going to have a lot of ISO ball, and it's going to kill us. Even if Booker's back and he's bringing the ball up, we need someone else back there with him.
Yep.
It's just tough to have a guy that, we love, but also he'll just be a guy that might be in the corner for some of these playoff games. So that is huge for the Kyrie news. Any other thoughts on Chris Paul? I feel like he's been playing a lot better, but I don't know, man. It's good, but you can just tell it's going to be like one every 4 or 5 games where he looks really good, and he'll be okay in some games, right?
Yeah, it's, I made a video just recently talking about how great he's been, but then he's had a few clunkers of the games. Like he had 3 points the other day or whatever. But I do agree. I think that he needs to sort of lighten the load, if you will, even if that is like a Devin Booker or Mikal Bridges taking the ball up court, just giving, and again, this goes back to the bench and everything, giving our starters as much rest as possible, but lightening Chris Paul's load offensively. He's still going to control the game, if you will, kind of like he did tonight and everything.
Yeah.
But Chris Paul definitely might need to take a back seat. And look, I haven't listened to the Coast to Coast podcast with Flex from Jersey, but if Flex from Jersey, and I like Flex, he's a friend of the channel. He's a great dude. I'm excited to watch your guys' show tomorrow with him on here. But if he really is open to being a 6th man, that's pretty damn lethal, man. I mean, if we somehow get Kyrie Irving, you got Kyrie starting, Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, CP3, maybe DeAndre Ayton, you know what I mean? That's a pretty lethal combo. But Chris Paul coming off of the bench to potentially win games, close out games with Kyrie and Book, that would be amazing. So don't really know where I'm going with all these thoughts here. Chris Paul's definitely regressing. But then again, Suns fans, I think sometimes his games get overlooked. He's been pretty good in the month of January.
Yeah, he has. And Bees does bring it up in the chat. So I'm gonna we're talking about this, but then also I want to do a new segment that John started to do where we're gonna just Jamsters react, and we're just gonna have you guys ask us questions. We did a last podcast. We have about 5 minutes, you guys go ahead and just ask any questions about anything, and we'll answer it.
Get active in the comments, y'all.
It can be personal, it can be about the Suns, whatever you guys want, because we have 5 minutes, and I'm sick of talking about Kyrie. But Bees does say, call me crazy, but I still believe SGA asked to be traded with Suns as his preferred destination, asked to be traded. You can see that Giddey's kind of being a guy that, he handles the ball a lot. And I don't know if SGA can really play off that too much, but they look good. They look good together. If he wants his own team and to be the actual point guard full time, but then also Booker's point book too. So that's going to be interesting because I think that SGA is definitely a better option right now. I would rather have him than Kyrie just because I know he has a big future ahead of him.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he doesn't have
absolutely.
like the baggage with him. You know what I mean?
The controversy too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, sorry. I was just going to say SGA is one of the most underrated stars in the league, and I'm so glad he was selected as an all-star. If he wasn't, that would be such a terrible look for the NBA.
Yeah, congrats to him. Seriously.
Yeah, he deserves it, man.
Yeah.
Jamsters react.
All right, so I'm going through the chat, and just like last time, there wasn't a whole lot of questions at first. All right, here we go. Michael Kolb, he has a question just for Suns Geek. Who's your favorite Sun? Let's go. That's a good question, huh? Who's your favorite Sun?
I mean, right now, it's Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, etc. But probably all time, Steve Nash. I know that's the easy answer to say, but it's true. Sean Marion, everyone on my wall, pretty much. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
What about you?
My favorite Sun ever, and it's gonna be the best Sun, Devin Booker, for sure. Always will be forever.
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, ever. He's gonna be the best Sun of all time when he retires. Metal Mike does say, Lizzie, do you have any walls that are not white? Nope, they're all white. I do live in an apartment, and I don't hang up too much stuff. I do have my TVs hung up.
You have to pay for that later on.
Yeah, I don't want to put holes in my wall. You know what I mean? And I'm very particular. Like, I don't have anything. I just have a bed. That's basically it, right? In this place.
When I had an apartment, that's how my apartment was, man. No joke.
Yeah. No. So let's see if there's another question. Crazy Luigi. Think Derrick Rose could be a potential 6-man option at point guard for us someday. Derrick Rose. What? Is he still in the league?
Yeah, but doesn't play much. Injuries just destroyed his career. I understand the vision there, but I mean, maybe. But
I don't know. That goes to answer
I feel like we'd have to be down point guards like hardcore. That I don't see that happening.
No, I mean, I just answered my own question. Is he still in the league?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Mensir Pro does say, who is your top 5 Suns players of all time? That's what he asks.
Man, I'm spitballing here, man. But again, just look at my wall. Look at that. There's 9 of them right there. You know what I mean? Plus Devin Booker, 10. So right there, Dick Van Arsdale never gets talked about, by the way. He's one of the greatest Suns of all time. Alvin Adams. Kevin Johnson. I could go all day, man. Just so many. There's a few on this team currently that can make my top 5, if you will.
Cool. Yeah, dude. I think I'm gonna go about the same. I mean, we kind of grew up in the same era. Just Booker, Chris Paul, Amari Stoudemire. I wish I can say DA.
So many, dude. There's just so many.
Mikal Bridges might be top. But I'm gonna say Charles Barkley, of course. But you know what? I kind of missed that as a kid. Yeah, but I'll go Charles in the top 5 too.
It's like I need like a top 50 Suns all-time players list because there's so many great legends and former fan favorites on this team, like Goran Dragic. You know what I mean? Like just so many great. Gerald Green is one of my all-time favorite Phoenix Suns players of all time. So I don't know.
It can be almost endless.
Right?
CL Oracle does say, or he does ask, do you guys think if we trade for Kyrie and have Chris come off the bench that we can win a ring or come close? Absolutely. I already said I'm sick of talking. I'm just joking. Sick of talking about him. No, absolutely, man. And you know why? Is because you have shooting. You have guys that can create their own shot. Even with Chris Paul coming off the bench, like he'll be rested. He'll play with that second unit. He'll be perfect. Maybe that's why they're not worried about the backup point guard position because you have Chris Paul there. If you have Kyrie is Kyrie, man. He's the best point guard in the league. When he's on, he's the best point guard in the league. And we'll have the best shooting guard in the league together. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's insane. And then you have everything else, unless you have to give up Cameron Johnson. But I don't feel like Mikal's going to be giving up. So that's going to be a good squad, man.
Yeah. It's pretty simple. We would at least come close. I mean, it would have to be NBA Finals at worst case scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's totally true. Michael Kolb does ask too. We got one more minute. What is your favorite food, guys? I'm a retired chef. My specialty is seafood. So my favorite food will always just be pizza. It's basic. That's what I
Pizza,
crave
chicken.
always.
I'm a pig man. I'll eat anything but pizza and chicken.
You're a pig man?
I eat everything, bro. I don't even know
Yeah.
how I'm still alive with all the food and junk that I eat.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think that's it. The one more question really quick. Scott Klaus. Lissy, what is your dog's name? Socks. I don't have a dog though, but
I know. I was like, do
Socks.
you? I thought about it. I was
No.
like, does he have a dog? I was like,
No,
never
what's your
seen
dog's
Pope.
name though? I know you have a dog.
I got 2 dogs, Spunky and Bear. And Bear is they're a golden retriever boxer mix. And I guess Bear's name was that when he was born, so we kept it that way. They're very stubborn dogs. They bark a lot, but they're amazing. Follow me on social media. You'll see tons of pictures of them.
Very cool, man. Okay, just one more really quick from Cody Kid. This last
go.
one. Lissy, how do you feel about McCarthy taking over the play calling for the Dallas Cowboys? I don't care. Just bring Aaron Rodgers here. That's all I want. So, what do you think about that? Any
You know my expert NFL opinion. Did you know that K-Ray is one of the voices of the Cowboys? Did you know that?
what?
Right? Yeah, Kevin Ray. Our
No way. I didn't know that. What does he just do the radio?
Or yeah, I don't know if it's like radio, but he's one of the Cowboys broadcasters, man.
Oh wow,
Pretty
I
cool.
had no idea.
That's like the
pretty
only
cool.
thing I know about the Cowboys, to be honest, besides Dak. But yeah,
Oh, that's
we don't
awesome,
talk
man.
about
I had
that.
no idea. Yeah, that's crazy. I had no idea, guys. All right. So that wraps it up. I want to thank John for joining and all the other we had all the podcasts, guys.
This was a great podcast.
On one podcast, basically, right? Except
Legendary.
for Flex and then also the PHNX, all
Yeah.
those guys. But basically everyone was at that bar. So that was pretty cool. So thanks for popping on, John, for about 40 minutes. That was awesome. Thank you, Jamsters. Make sure to like right now. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Leave us a 5-star Apple review. We will read it live on the pod. Man, tomorrow we're going to have Flex on, and I'm excited to talk more Kyrie, I guess. And maybe we'll have Kyrie by tomorrow. Who knows? I'm sure it'll be the 8th.
Never know.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, thanks again, guys. Thank you, Suns Geek. And where can they find all your awesome content at?
Yeah, just at Suns Geek on all social media. Just search it and you'll find me. And like we said during the chat, you guys, me and Matthew went live for a decent amount of time. I went for like an hour and 45 minutes, just rambling on about this Kyrie stuff, constantly uploading videos, doing as many live shows as possible. And it was a great show, Matthew. I love being on here. Anytime you guys need me, I'll be here. And I'm excited for tomorrow's show. I'm going to have to be in the chat listening to what you and Flex and all them have to say.
Yeah, definitely do. Definitely check us out. And hopefully the Suns get a win tomorrow. Not a big letdown against those Pistons. Who cares? We'll just take on the Pistons. We'll see what they look like tomorrow. I'm not going to talk about them.
They're
but everyone,
very injured.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know Cade Cunningham's out, and that's
Yeah.
probably the most exciting player that I want to see. But yeah, everybody go home and love your Kyrie, right?
Yeah.